Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thanks very much for the opportunity that has given to me. I'm wd.restuastuty Muslimin, and the title of my proposal today is Using Concept Map to Improve Students' Writing Ability in Teaching Recount Text, an experimental research at the 8th grade of SMP Haji Srianti Baitur Rahman Semarang in academic year 2011 and 2012. Well, I'd be glad to answer your question at the end of my presentation. Well, I've divided my presentation into 3 parts. The first chapter is introduction, the second chapter is literary review, and the last chapter is research method. Start from the first chapter is introduction. 1.1 is background of the study. Well, as you know that writing is a difficult skill in English language, and because students must generate and organize their ideas to solve the difficulties in writing. Based on this case, the researcher is more interested to research about the using concept map to improve students' writing ability in teaching recount text. Move to the 1.2 is the question of the research. Well, the question of the research consists of 2. The first one is how is the use of using concept map to improve students' writing ability in teaching recount text, and the second one is how effective is using concept map to improve students' writing ability in teaching recount text. Move to the 1.3 is about objectives of the research. Well, this research has 2 objectives. The first one is to find out the use of using concept map, and the second one is to investigate the effectiveness of using concept map to improve students' writing ability in teaching recount text. Well, move to the second chapter is literary review. Start from the 2.1 is theoretical framework. Well, start from the first one is writing skill. Well, writing skill is a program of comprehensive writing to at the beginning, struggling, and at the risk of the writers. And the second one is recount text. Well, a recount is a text that retelling the events in the past. And as you know, a recount text is one of genre in English language, namely story genre. And the third one is concept map. Well, concept map here is a tool for organizing and representing the knowledge. And the last is teaching recount text by using concept map. Well, the models of construction concept map can be applied in the class by the teacher. And also, this concept map is a new method or a new way for the English teacher, especially junior high school, for their teaching and learning activity. Well, move to the 2.2 is the advantage of concept map. Well, by using concept map, we can get many advantages. The first one is this concept map can help the teacher to explain about the topic and the picture of the subject or material that the teacher explained. And the second one is this concept map can get the students' interest. The third one is by using concept map, we can reduce the misconception in teaching and learning activity. And the last is students can assess their achievement by themselves if we use this concept map in teaching and learning activity. Well, move to the last chapter is research method. Well, 3.1 is research design. In this research design, the researcher used experimental method or experimental research, and 3.2 is research setting. This research is done by the researcher at SMP Haji Srianti Baitur Rahman Semarang. And then 3.3 is population and sample. Well, the population of the research are the 8th grade of students at SMP Haja Istrianti Baitur Rahman Semarang, and the number of the population here is 85 students, and the research use 8A, 8B, and 8C, class 8A, B, and C. And then the sample in this study, the researcher used class 8A as the experimental class and use the class 8C as the control class. Well, move to the 3.4 is data collection technique. In collecting the data, the researcher used two ways, namely the first one is documentation and the second one is test. This consists of two tests. The first one is pre-test and the second one is post-test. Well, move to the 3.5 is data analysis technique. Well, there are some techniques that the researcher used in this research. The first one is technique of scoring test. The second one is prerequisite test, and the third or the last is analysis phase N. Well, I think that's all about my proposal, about my presentation today. And move to the second section is question section. If you want to ask some question, you can raise your hand and mention your name. Yes, to go ahead.
Okay, thanks for the chance. And my question is, why do you use the concept map in your research? Thank you.
Well, the researcher used the concept map here because according to Carol Johnston, concept mapping can be a technique that allows and organize the relationship between ideas by creating a visual map of the connection. And concept map can make students connect their ideas and their knowledge. Well, move to the second question. Yes, Dr. Sarudin.
Okay, thanks for the chance. I'm Dr. Sarudin. As we know, the concept or the technique must have the steps in using it. My question is, could you explain about the steps of concept map to find the connection between idea and knowledge? Thank you.
Thanks very much for the question. Well, I'll explain about the steps. There are 4 steps here in this research. The first step is teacher must train the students. The second is teacher must to create an individual maps first. And the third step is teacher asks students to review with their groups. And then the last step is teacher asks each group to present their important proposition in front of their teacher. I think that's all. And move to the third question. Yes, Yuli Saptarini, please.
Okay, thanks for the chance. My name is Yuli Saptarini. In your proposal, you have explained that about some characteristic of written text called as language features. Can you explain to us about the language features itself?
Thanks very much for the question. Well, the language feature in this research is the first is introducing the personal participants, and the second is chronological connection is used to think between paragraphs or sentence, and the third is this concept map contains the linking verb, and then the fourth it exerts action verb, and the last is it applies simple past tense and be written in the first or the third person. Well, move to the fourth question, please. Yes, Nilueli Ratmini.
Okay, thank you very much for the chance. My name is Nilueli Ratmini, and my question is, To construct a recount text, the student must know the scaffold, right? Can you explain what the meaning of scaffold? Because this is the first time I hear about it. Thank you.
Well, thanks very much for the question. Yes, right, scaffold. Well, scaffold here is a guide to construct a pitch of the text, and this scaffold can help the students to plan a recount, because there are several recounts that don't have a conclusion. So here the researcher used a scaffold. Well, move to the last question, please. Yes, Falsa Fioriza.
Okay, thanks for the nice chance to present to me. My name is Falsa Fioriza, and my question is, how must the teacher evaluate the concept map that has been created by the students?
Well, thank you for the question. The evaluation itself can be managed through by grading or scoring. Even though it doesn't use, or the teacher doesn't use the grading or scoring, the teacher and students will get that concept map is informative for them. Well, I think that's all about my presentation today, and I close by saying wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi